Marking the 60th anniversary of the European Union's founding Treaty of Rome, we take a look back and a look forward through the eyes of EPP Group Chairman Manfred Weber.
The last 60 years of the European Union are, historically speaking, not the normal time of Europe. Peace was not the normal situation in the European Union. And that's why all those politicians who founded the European Union and all the citizens who invested in the idea of a common Europe, it was not only a political project, it was a project of citizens to found the European Union. They achieved a lot.
Where would we be now if we did not have the European Union or the Euro or any of the other things that we've accomplished through the EU?
When we think about the question, what would be the situation without the Rome Treaty, without the European Union? Frankly speaking, the biggest thing would be that we would have still this big clash of national interests on the table. What is Europe all about? Europe is about to come together, to sit together, to bring the national interests with you as a member of parliament or a prime minister, but to sit here in Brussels together and find common solutions, find an agreement, find a compromise.
But it's not always easy, right?
It was never easy, but it was a good approach for people in the European Union. The alternative is not to sit together, not to talk to each other. It is a good alternative. We had this during centuries on this continent, and it was a very violent and it was a very negative time period.
We asked him about the growth of the EU from the original 6 members to 28 today.
Well, the success story of the European Union is also understandable when you look to those who want to join. There are still a lot of countries who want to become member of the European Union, and that shows how attractive it is to be a member of this union.
The launch of the single currency, the euro, in 1999 was another big achievement. The effects of the 2008 financial crisis would have been much worse had countries had to withstand it on their own.
It is not thinkable without the euro to survive in this financial crisis times during 2009, 10 and 11. I think it was an anchor, it was a stability anchor for us to have our common currency. Today we are globally competitive with this currency. It makes us strong.
Weber says the diversity of Europe makes it stronger, and the Erasmus education program cultivates that.
Especially in the young generation, that is positive, and from my point of view, we have to do more in this.
And that Erasmus Plus expanded it beyond the universities and academia to many other kinds of people.
Exactly. Europe is not about a kind of an elite. Europe is about everybody. Everybody is benefiting from Europe today. From the EPP group, there is the idea on the table to do an Interrail project, to give every 18 years old young people in the European Union the opportunity to have a free Interrail, to have a chance to experience the beauty of Europe.
The single biggest threat facing the EU right now is the powerful cocktail of nationalists, populists, and xenophobes spreading hate across the bloc.
There are a lot of forces, sometimes strong forces, who play the old melody of nationalism again. The voters in Europe has to decide whether they want to go back, whether they want to have the old national approach to be proud of a nation and so on. And I am fed up with Brussels. That is what some politicians tell people, or whether they understand that there's a need to work together in a globalized world.
There are plenty of major challenges ahead, of course, including the migration crisis and terrorism.
Another very important achievement is for sure that we created security in the European Union. For example, today we have a Schengen information system, so European-wide, the policemen on the street have the same database, who is critical, who is a criminal, whom we are looking for. So we have an exchange of data, and that is creating security. When we talk about the future of the structure of the European Union, there are elements, for example, on strengthening our currency, strengthening the economic dimension, which was a success story in the past. The next field where we need more and a stronger Europe is the external dimension, is the external power of this European Union. You have a foreign minister of Europe who is defending the interests of Europe globally, and probably a common European army. The most important thing is to bring the political process on European level closer to people, because for a lot of people it's far away. Brussels is far away.
So how do we do that?
Well, through a democratic way. So what we do on national level as well. So we have a parliament, we elect politicians, we have top candidates, we vote for a prime minister. Why on it we are not voting for a president of the European Union? We have to decide whether we want to be weakened or whether we want to be strong. And I think we have to be strong. That's the only chance to survive in a globalized world as Europeans, with our ideas, with our values, with our traditions. I want to fight for this.